In our leading story this afternoon, things are looking up for power utility Eskom as Phakamani Hadebe is appointed as the CEO. Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan confirmed the appointment as he announced the new board appointments to state-owned companies. Hadebe replaces a former Eskom CEO, Brian Molefe. Popo Molefe is also the newly confirmed chairperson at Transnet. He replaces Linda Mabaso. Minister Gordhan says the new boards have been selected to ensure good governance and transparency. The minister adds that ethical culture must also be reinstalled at state-owned companies. This comes as a cloud still hangs over SOEs regarding governance, corruption allegations and poor financial management.
They must ensure good governance, accountability and transparency. And here, what we want to introduce over a short period of time is that if there's, for example, a forensic report, it must be made public. So all of us know exactly what the forensic report said, whom have they found what evidence against, who must be further investigated, so that we don't have to make you work too hard to get leaks from anybody. You should be able to supply it to you on the table. They must reinstill an ethical culture into state-owned entities. Clearly, we've lost a lot of ground in this particular regard. And the malfeasance that all of us know about and the consequences of state capture run quite deep. And once you have such a deep culture of malfeasance, it takes a tremendous effort on the part not just of the board, but of senior managers to get this process right. They must investigate any allegations of corruption and ensure that where there's evidence of malfeasance, they deal with that evidence decisively. And where necessary, charges must be laid against individuals or entities that have benefited improperly from dubious procurement contracts with the Hawks and other sections of the police. Secondly, we expect that the prosecution authority will send out a positive and strong signal that they will act when there is the right amount of evidence prepared against individuals and entities that have been involved in malfeasance. But thirdly, the boards will also be asked to ensure that where funds are known to have left that particular entity, that those funds must be tracked down and brought back home.
Gordhan commended the new Eskom CEO for addressing corruption and establishing good governance at the utility.
In the short period that Mr. Hadebe has been in office, he's, together with the board, made some important advances, particularly in relation to ensuring that those, or some of those, who have been guilty of malfeasance, which was exposed both in the parliamentary inquiry and by some of the good work that you've been doing as investigative journalists, have either resigned or they're going through disciplinary processes. Secondly, they've started introducing good governance practices within the institution itself. Thirdly, they've been looking at their finances and are now able to borrow from capital markets. And Mr. Hadebe's experience, both at the Land Bank and at the Treasury, and his stint at a banking institution, places him in a good position, together with a team that the board will put together to steer Eskom out of where it finds itself today.
Gordhan also announced a new board for South African Express with Triforsa Ramano as the chairperson. He says the company has been in dire straits for some time.
SA Express, I think many of these entities are going to require, let's call it legitimate cash for operational purposes. And our, I think, experience and understanding is that if you have the right boards with the right kind of experience and insights, but also the courage and the boldness to do the right things, plus an effective management team, many of these entities can, and SA Express certainly as well, pull themselves out of the trouble that they find themselves in. Why do I say that? The entities like SA Express find themselves where they are because of the fact that the focus became the question, how can I steal? rather than how can I make this airline run properly.
Earlier on, we caught up with our reporter, Nasipi Same, who is on the ground.
It is Operation Cleanup for Minister Pravin Gordhan, who is in the Public Enterprises Ministry. He said that, on his 86th day, which is today, we held this press briefing, to inform the public and also the media on, the recent announcement of board in different SOEs. He went further in saying that, during the State of the Nation address earlier on this year in February by the President of South Africa, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, he said that the President, clearly indicated that, SOEs need to, stand on their own 2 feet and not be, bailed out constantly. And, by introducing these new board members, they are hoping that, they do instill that culture of, of making management account. He said that, with the new Tumamina campaign, that the newly appointed boards must reinstill the ethical culture in our SOEs, maintain independence from management, as I mentioned earlier on, clean up, the different SOEs that they've been appointed to, investigate each and every allegation, that creeps up, and stabilize the institution. And he went on further, with his list of things that, the boards must implement.